Hey everybody, welcome to Kimmel's Irish Pub. Tonight I want to talk a little bit about True Detective 3, the third season of this. So I don't know if you're a fan of True Detective. There's been three different seasons, I guess, is what you call it. First one with Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson. Second one had Vince Vaughn, Colin, forget his last name, and Michelle Monaghan. And Tyler Kitsch was also in it too. And now this one has, I want to make sure I say his name, at least it was Stephen Dorff, of course, and Mahershala Ali. I meant Colin Farrell was the other one. So I can tell you that I saw the first True Detective with Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey. How could you not like that? That was a really good show. Really enjoyed it. And then they came out with the second one. I finally got around to watching it a little bit ago. Not nearly as good, and I lost interest. Then they came out with season 3 with, the two actors that I just named, and they're not like Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey or Vince Vaughn. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I don't know. And for some reason, I finally turned it on, and I'm glad I did, and that's why I'm recording this video. I think the third series, or the third season of True Detective kind of goes back to the first one. The way the first one felt, I think, is very similar to the third one. The second one was weird for me. It didn't seem like it followed the same flavor, I guess, as the first one. And this one takes you back and makes it feel like the first one, which was really good. A really good story, compelling story. It has you trying to figure out what's going on, and really done well, I think. I loved it. The story, I loved. I liked the mystery. The mystery is, kidnapping, murder kind of thing, and you have to watch it to find out. I'm not going to go into it too much. And trying to think who's involved, and you have your own thoughts, and they're throwing you tips and tidbits throughout the thing to lead you down different ways, little breadcrumbs, so on and so forth. Very interesting. Now, my areas of opportunity for season 3. One, what they do in this one, this is not a spoiler alert, but they have 3 different timelines going on at once. So they have the time of the time of the event that has happened. So he's a detective at the time he's on the case, trying to find out what has happened here, solve the mystery. Then we have a timeline that is 8 years in the future, not in the future, but 8 years ahead of when the actual events happened. And then, honestly, I don't know what the timeline is. 30 years, 25 years maybe. I think that might be it. I should know this, but it's like 25 years after the 8 years. I mean, so he's a young detective initially, then he's 8 years older, then he's old and gray and is having memory problems. He's like a senior citizen who's having memory problems. Sorry. So there's 3 different pieces that they're intertwining throughout the entire season, and I get it. In the end, it kind of all plays itself out, but I didn't enjoy that too much. I mean, you kind of, then you get a sense. It's like, okay, if they're showing 8 years from now, you kind of know what you're not going to get here. And if they're showing, certain parts of the mystery, when he's a senior citizen, you know what you're not getting out of the first years and the 8 years later. If you know what I mean, it kind of ruins it for you, in a sense. At least it did for me. Or stuff. It just, that was one big thing that I really thought they could have done better. Now the ending, I wasn't a big fan of the ending either. They wrapped things up rather quickly in the last 2 episodes, and there was only 8 episodes, so I think, right? So I guess that's what they had to do. So I don't think they led you enough to allow you to be like, oh, that makes sense. But it all makes sense, but it's not like, now I see it kind of thing. Sorry, I feel like I'm rambling. But then watching, so they show the conclusion and a little piece after, and I'm like, why did they do that? Well, luckily enough, at the end of, I think, every episode, they have Inside the Episode, where the director gets to share with you his thoughts and why he did things. So it's easier to understand on what they did there, but I don't know if that's the way I would have done it. But that's what they're going for in all of this, now that I see it. It's, I don't know, they shed more light. I'll just put it to you this way, without spoiling it for you. They shed more light on the actual detective and his life, rather than the actual mystery, that is going on that had to be solved. And maybe that's okay. Maybe everybody liked it. For me, wasn't a fan of that piece of it. But there's my areas of opportunity. That's enough for me. Doesn't matter, what those areas are. I still think it's definitely worth the watch. If you've seen True Detective season 1 and maybe haven't watched it in a while, you definitely got to come back and watch this. And what's great about them is you don't have to go see season 2 and watch season 3. You don't even have to go from season 3 to go to season 1. You know what I mean? There is a little piece in season 3 that refers back to season 1, but that's okay. You don't need it. So if you haven't seen any True Detectives, you can start with this one and be okay. But I highly recommend that you watch 1 and 3 at the very least. Well worth the watch now that you know where the areas of opportunity are. And I think you'll enjoy it. So if you did check it out, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear your comments. What you think of the show? And worst case scenario, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for tuning in. Kimmel's Irish Pub.